Let's begin with a very basic question here today, and that is, as you engage with people, particularly those that you see on a pretty regular basis, do problems arise to the surface? Of course, the answer is, well, sure they do. Sometimes it's just situations that come along that were unexpected, and you need to put your heads together and figure out how to manage that. Other times it represents more of a difference between your opinions and that other individual's opinions. You can tell a lot about an individual's maturity and healthiness by watching the way that they respond to problems. Now, this brings us to the issue of you and the narcissist. One of the things that I know that you can say with a whole lot of frequency is when problems arise, that narcissistic individual wants to be the one that solves the problems, and they do it in a very shallow kind of way. Now, their understanding of solving a problem is entirely different from your understanding, or a healthy person's understanding of solving a problem. When a narcissist approaches a problem, they're thinking, how am I going to get my way? And how am I going to make this individual in front of me do what I tell them to do? In that case, problem solved. And that's how they think. As a simple example, let's suppose that it's a mother and a father, and they disagree about the discipline of the kids. And so one of them may be highly narcissistic, and they just press and press and press, saying, here's how we have to do it. And then finally, the other one just relinquishes or says, forget it, and they walk away. And so that narcissistic parent can think, good, problem solved, I got my way. Or it could be that you're in working on a project with someone, and obviously you're not approaching the problem in a similar kind of mindset. Again, that narcissistic person can just say, here's how we have to do it, no questions asked, let's just get it done. And so in their mind, that get it done kind of mentality means they're a problem solver. And sure enough, narcissists with their high need for control do have a way of rising to the top of organizations, or they can learn how to be dominant in relationships. And so they think of themselves as being problem solvers. But because of the shallowness of the way that they manage it, they actually create and perpetuate more problems than they will solve. You see, there's one huge ingredient that's necessary for true, healthy problem solving to happen, and that's the ingredient of empathy. You know, if you and I differ, you're over there thinking about a project one way, and I'm thinking about it another way, what I could do is I could just push my way onto you and say I solved the problem. But actually, we're just kicking the can down the road, because it's going to keep coming back over and over, and there's going to be a buildup of resentment. That's not problem solving. Instead, if you and I have a difference and we have a problem and we need to address, what if I were to use empathy? And if I were to say, you know, I know that you're sitting on a lot of frustration. Tell me about it. I want to know your perspective. Or it may be that you'll say something like, I've got my ideas, but several times in our last couple of days, you've been talking with me about something entirely different. You're onto something that obviously I'm not. Let's kind of go in there and figure out what we're going to do with that. And so you show a willingness to hear and know and understand that other individual from their vantage point. And as you do, you have a sense of collaboration, hopefully, that's going to emerge. That's clean, healthy problem solving. Because hopefully, as you do, there's more of a spirit of camaraderie. There's a deepening respect that you can have with each other. And as a result, you move on with a lot of positivity. Now, I want you to notice the ingredients that a narcissist brings to the problem-solving equation that, frankly, just sabotages it right from the very beginning. Narcissists begin with an attitude of superiority. I know more than you know. I'm smarter than you are. They bring to the equation a sense of disdain. It's like they're thinking, you're such a dunce, although they may not say it quite that politely. Or they bring to the equation an attitude of intimidation. If you differ from me, I'm gonna make you pay. Or they bring to problems a lot of anger. There's an agitation, irritability. There's kind of I hate it when you act and think differently from me. And so that's what becomes part of their emotional mindset as they engage with you. They bring to the equation a great deal of defensiveness. If you say something that isn't exactly in their wheelhouse, they have to go into justifying and rationalization mode. They bring to the equation a disinterest. It's like, why do I care about you? You don't matter to me. Or they bring to the equation invalidation. They think, I can't even trust you. You're just misinformed. They bring to the equation shock or mocking. It's kind of like, are you kidding me? Are you that stupid? And they bring to the equation entitlement. You're indebted to me. I deserve better than what you're giving to me. And so all of that implies an emotional shallowness. The implication is there's only one person whose attitude or whose solutions in this room matter, and it's not you. You don't register. And so they impose their solutions on you, but that's not the same as problem solving. They don't think, well, I feel what I feel, but I know that you feel what you feel too. Let's see if we can come to a meeting of the minds. In other words, there's no sense of that reciprocity that comes along with empathy. Now, let's take a look at what healthy problem solving requires, and then we're going to go back and see where this fits in with your engagement with that narcissist. There's a certain mindset that you want to bring to the equation as you go through problems and conflict and difficulty. First, you begin with the notion that says people differ in their values and principles and desires. I need to take that into account. Now, it doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but the fact is people have different thoughts as you do. Let's begin with that understanding. Or in a healthy relationship, you begin with the understanding that says life is not black and white. Narcissists want to put everything into a tight all or nothing kind of paradigm, but there's a whole lot of nuance in relationships. Let's make room for that, which leads to another thought that's part of healthy problem solving, and that is there's so much variety that's built into all of nature, including human nature. We all think a bit differently. We all have different experiences and perspectives that we bring to the equation. Let's make room for the varieties of differences that we have. We don't all have to be in the same mold. Narcissists want to put you in their little cookie cutter mold. Now, this next thought that's a part of a healthy problem-solving kind of a paradigm is something that a narcissist just absolutely doesn't get. And that is the best way to be understood is to give understanding. As I show you my willingness to know you and to receive you from where your vantage point is, then there's a much higher likelihood that you're going to do the same in reverse. It's called leadership. I'm showing you a model that's worthy of following. Narcissists like, no, you just need to understand me, end of discussion. They don't want to understand you. Or we can say that in healthy relationships, even when emotions are high, or maybe even when emotions are erratic, they understand that still beneath those strong emotions, there might be something to that person that makes sense. And so they're willing to go to that place and find out what is it that's driving you. That's part of that empathy. And then another thought, and that is healthy individuals understand that when you're in the problem-solving mode, the patient approach is actually the fast approach. In other words, as we patiently sift through things, we bring ingredients like acceptance and equality and decency, and you're going to have a much cleaner way of getting through things as opposed to, ramming your thoughts down somebody else's face. Now, not only do narcissists not solve problems well, in their shallow, all or nothing, it's all about me kind of thinking, they just make problems worse. And they actually create more problems as they go. So understand that a narcissist problem-solving tactic is built upon one premise, and that is, I have to win. I have to be superior. And so they'll use those harsh accusations. They'll use chronic interruptions. It's like, no, your opinions don't matter here. They'll use projection. They see in you what they're not really willing to deal with on the inside of themselves. They become the victim. Oh, look what you've done to me now. And then that's their way of trying to put guilt games on you. And it's part of their critical nature, etc. They play the scoreboarding game. Remember, I'm the one who did this, and I'm the one who told you that, and I'm the one who gave you this gift, or whatever it might be. Everybody agrees with me. They can go into passive aggressive behavior. Sometimes when they don't get their way right away, they'll give you the silent treatment, or they talk about you behind your back, all sorts of things like that. And that's incredibly frustrating. So here's your task. And that is, you just can't afford to get caught up in their game. And you don't want to trade insults for insults. And so unfortunately, as you realize that this person in front of you is operating with a strongly narcissistic bent, you're going to have to individualize your problem-solving efforts. And by that I mean, if there is that interpersonal element that has to be addressed, you speak your words, you speak your impressions or your needs or your plans once, and then if and when that narcissist comes back with you with that predictable pushback, then you're finished with the interpersonal element. At that point, they've gone into their dysfunctional mode, they've gone into their childish mode, and so I'm going to cease. And so at that point, then what you do is you go ahead and establish what your boundaries are. And boundaries is all predicated upon you having a good definition of who you are. And it also involves assertiveness, setting your stipulations, and establishing your patterns. And if they agree with you, that would be wonderful. If they don't, you stick with it anyway, with no particular need to defend or justify it. So for a narcissist, problem solving consists of that one thing, and that is, I've got to grab the opportunity to show you how dominant I am. For you, problem solving represents an opportunity for standing for what is right and good. And then it also is an opportunity for you to stand upon your own common sense. That's something a narcissist can't do. You're not going to be able to partner up with them. So individualize your efforts and go your way, knowing that you're just going to have that narcissist who thinks you're an idiot. Okay, so they think that. Another problem that just kind of stays there, but at the same time, you can still be a healthy person. Notice back there, Gus, he didn't have too many problems going on right now. I like hanging out with Gus. Some of you have been asking where he's been. He's sometimes under the desk, who knows? Sometimes he's at home with mom. I do hope that videos such as this stimulates your thinking, and if you haven't already done so, go beneath the video here and hit that subscribe button. Know that I really do appreciate being a part of your journey, and so as you allow me to be a part of your journey, then that just means that we are building a community here where we're all encouraging one another. Sometimes when you hear videos such as this, it stirs up some thought and feeling on the inside of you, and you'd like to sift it out with a licensed professional counselor. And we've vetted a trusted sponsor that can help you out. Right now, online counseling is extremely popular, and many people are going in that direction. There's a link below where you could avail yourself to that. And if you need some counseling, I really encourage you to go and check that out. In addition, we have links to my books, my online video workshops, and also I would encourage you to go to survivingnarcissism.tv. We have many elements on that website, and my drlescarter.com. And by the way, we even have coffee mugs. I think there's one with Gus's picture on there. Just know that narcissists are experts at creating problems. They think they solve problems when they try to dominate you, but I'm hoping that you have a healthy understanding of where you're going, and in doing so, you can stay disentangled from their messy way of doing things. And in doing so, I hope that you can live inside your own inner confidence and your own inner sense of steadiness and resolve.